Okay, here I am. I'm out of the hospital, finally. It's been a few days since I've done a video. I've been discharged from the hospital twice this week. The first time I discharged at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I got to the apartment that I'm staying in, the condo. Here's the lanai. I'll show you the condo while I'm giving you my story. As soon as I was discharged, I came here, was enjoying the Florida sun, sitting out on that lanai, and then my temperature spiked, and they told us that if the temperature went to a certain degree, or I started acting a little mental, or not right, then I was to call the hospital. Well, Bijo called the hospital, and we were told to go back to the hospital. So we got there about 7:30, 8 o'clock, and was readmitted. So I got out of the hospital about 5 hours before I had to go back. I just want to show you that. That's what's in the cabinet. And so back I went. And prior to me leaving the hospital, I had a nagging headache, which progressively got worse. And I went in to the hospital and I told them about the headache. And while I was there, it got intensively worse. And I'll just show you a picture. I look pretty ghoulish. I'm not supposed to use a razor because they're afraid of any infection. And you can tell by my eyes I'm pretty tired. I've lost weight since I've been here. I've lost probably 10 pounds or more. My hair has gotten really thin, so it's not falling out, however, which is good, because if it falls out it would be in clumps. But I am in need of a haircut, so I'll get that as soon as I get back. Maybe I should just let it grow into a beard. Maybe not. Anyway, when I got to the hospital and I was there with the headache got so bad, right above my right eye. The pain was so intense, it was like an ice pick being stabbed into my eyes, right above my eye socket. And I still have it to this day, although not as intense and as frequent. But when I didn't have that stabbing sensation, I didn't have a headache. So, when they said, well, how's your headache? And if I'm not having one of those pains, then I just said, my headache's fine. I don't even have a headache. But then all of a sudden I'll get a stabbing sensation, and they'll go, what's your pain level? And I'd say 10, which it was brutal. However, that night, the first night I was back in the hospital, I had them so frequently that it was almost constant, or it was like turning a light switch on and off not having it, and then on being stabbed. So, as fast as turning it on and off is as fast as I was getting the attacks. And yet the pain was intolerable. It made me flinch, and it was so intense, and then it would be 100% gone. But the time period of it gone and being active was very short, so it was almost constant. It's dissipated over the past days that I've been in the hospital, the past 3 days, and while I was there, they called in a circulatory surgeon, to see if there was any blood issues. I had an MRI, a scan of the brain, and I also had a neurologist examine me, and he looked at every aspect of neurology of the scan, the MRI, and he figured it out to be a nerve that's going through right about here, and that's where the stabbing occurs, anywhere from the temple here over to there. He kept checking my skin to see if I had any rash, to show the possibility of shingles, which was interesting. He didn't think it was shingles. He didn't think it was a migraine, but he thinks it is a nerve-based headache. So he has written a prescription based on that information. And I received the first pill last night at 9 o'clock. At 9:30 I was asleep, and I didn't wake up till 4:30. And then I got another pill, and that's where we are now. I'm just waiting to take another one. He thinks the intensity of the headaches will decrease over the time, at a more rapid rate than you would normally think it would take for that amount of pain to dissipate. He thinks it's part of the drugs, the combination of the drugs and the cells getting back into my system and growing the immune system. He thinks they're all related to that. He doesn't think there's any secondary issue going on. I feel pretty weak because I haven't been eating that much. I feel like I could use a good scotch. That would certainly make me feel better, but my wife won't let me have any. So I'm back from the hospital. I am in quarantine still. I will be here until April 3rd or 4th, more likely the 4th, with getting a PET scan and a CT scan on the day before, which is April 3rd, and the doctor will meet with me on the 4th and look over the scans and discuss it and see what the follow-up is. And I think as time goes on and I gain my strength back, then things will be a lot better. So that's my post for today. Sorry I missed the last 3 days of posting anything, but I just couldn't. I had no strength to do it. I was in bed in the fetal position most of the time. Wasn't able to sleep. Really wasn't interested in food. Really not interested in anything for the past 3 days. So that's where I'm at, and I will give you an update tomorrow. Hopefully you'll see a much stronger guy, and I'll let you know what happens. Talk to you tomorrow. Have a good day. Bye.